What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. While the mainstream media is focusing on former President Donald Trump's legal troubles, and they should be focused on that, nobody is above the law. I do believe that he broke laws. But at the same time, you remember when Trump was president and they were always referencing his poor poll numbers? You notice they never talk about Joe Biden? They did at first when his numbers were high, the first couple of months of his presidency. But since I think August of 2021, August of 2021, his poll numbers have been in the toilet. And they've never, ever resurfaced. And this new poll, now look, we're still a year and a half away from the 2024 presidential election, so a lot can change. But if his poll numbers stay this low, I can't see how he gets reelected. So according to this, and I'll put a link to this article in the pinned comment in the comment section below. According to this new poll, Joe Biden's approval rating is down to 38%. President Joe Biden's approval rating dipped in a new poll released Thursday, approaching an all-time low for that survey as Americans give the Democrat poor marks on how he has handled the economy. Only 38% of respondents have said they approve of the job Biden is doing, versus 61% who say they disapprove, according to the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll. The president's approval rating in March fell from 45% in February and 41% in January. Now, the poll does have a margin of error of 4 percentage points, which might mean that his true approval rating is 42%, or maybe it's as low as 34%. Either way, he's doing terrible. The numbers reflect Americans' dissatisfaction with how the president has handled key issues, including the economy and foreign policy. Biden has aimed in recent months to highlight economic plans he helped to pass and implement during his first term as he gears up for a potential run for re-election next year. The new poll suggests he may have more work to do to sell his first term of office as a success. Less than a third of Americans, 31%, approve of Biden's handling of the economy, according to the poll. Even Democrats, 76% of whom approve of the overall job Biden is doing, are less supportive of his handling of the economy. Only 63% of Democrats from his party approve of how he has managed the economy. That's not good. That's not good, because I have a feeling that the 2024 election, barring some cataclysmic event that hopefully doesn't happen, I think the next election is going to be primarily focused on the economy, because I don't see the economy really getting much better. And if that's the case, he better hope that we're not going into another recession. Because if Trump does somehow still win the nomination despite his legal woes, Trump will be in a position to win. Now, I know some people are like, well, how could you say that, Mike, when he lost the popular vote by 7 million last time? Well, what you have to recall, what you have to remember is, he lost by 7 million votes, 81 million to 74 million. But what's misleading about that is that if you look at California and New York, Biden, I think, got 64% of the vote in California, and like 62% of the vote in New York. And those are both huge states with millions and millions and millions of registered voters. When you look at Biden's margin of victory in those two states combined, it's 7 million. So outside of those two states, it was a very close election. And all it took was a switch of, I think it's a switch of 45,000 votes. I think it is. I think if you switch 45,000 votes in Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, I think those are the states. If you switch 45,000 votes in those 4 states, despite losing by almost 7 million still, Trump would have been reelected. Narrowly, but reelected. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure if it would have been just 4 states. Let me see. Trump had 232 electoral votes. If he carried Arizona, that's 11, 243. Georgia was 16. That brings him to 259. Yeah, he didn't even need both Pennsylvania and Michigan. If he carried Michigan, that gave him 275, and he would have been reelected. Or, if he carried just Pennsylvania, it would give him 279, and he would have been reelected. So, he just needed a switch of, I think, 45,000 votes in 3 states, and he'd have been reelected. So the election was actually misleadingly, it was much closer than what people think. You know what I mean? The Democrats have a decided advantage in the popular vote because of the fact that Democrats do exceedingly well in urban population centers, like mega urban population centers. You know, the most populous areas in states where you have a core mixture of people. Democrats do very well in those areas, getting 75-80% of the vote. Republicans do exceedingly well in rural areas or some suburban areas, but there's not quite as many people living there. But Republicans have a distinct advantage in electoral college because they tend to win more states, usually. They tend to win 28, 29 states in close elections, Democrats 2021, but the states that Democrats tend to win tend to have more people. So that's why, for instance, in 2000, Bush carried 32, I think it was 31 states. Gore carried 19 in the District of Columbia. But the states that Gore carried were more populous, while Bush racked up a lot of the small little rectangular states, you know, like Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, you know, those states. They look big on the map, but there's not a lot of people living there. But anyway, that's all I got to say in this one. Tell me what you guys think.